The name's Diamonds, Sam Diamonds. Before you ask, yes, Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I want to tell you about a case I've been working on called the Boilermaker. Started about 10 years ago when I was in the police force. My partner, Johnny Boy Illucito, and I were working homicide. All of a sudden, we got these calls about these pimps and prostitutes being murdered. The pimps didn't want us talking to the girls, and the girls didn't want us around until all of a sudden the pimps started dying, even those with bodyguards. The funny thing was, just about as quickly as it started, it stopped. About 9 months later, it started up again on college campuses. They seemed to be attacking the athletes and the cheerleaders. It came to a head on Halloween where there's a triple murder, triple homicide. The thing was that no evidence of restraints, so why the two didn't try running away when they were murdering the first person, it was a mystery to us. A big break came when we got a call from a snitch saying that he had some information. I was at home. It was Missy and mine's 10th anniversary and having a little lunch, if you know what I mean. Johnny Boy called me since snitch wanted to meet up at the warehouse district. Since it was near my house, I told him I'd just meet him there. And problem was I got stuck by a train. Got there about 20 minutes late. I hear some noise in the background. I go running in, and I see Johnny Boy just standing over the snitch, kicking the living daylights at him, getting blood on his brand new Italian fine cut suit and his shoes and all that. Told me that the snitch pulled out a knife and threatened to slice and dice him. Well, we dragged him back to the squad car, called an ambulance, called for backup. Ambulance came, took him to the hospital, and backup and I, we went there trying to find the evidence, and there was no evidence of a knife there at all. Got back to the station, and the captain called us in and asked us for our statements, and then IA came, Internal Affairs. Johnny Boy asked me to cover for him. I said, I told him I couldn't do it. I can't lie. You can't lie to Internal Affairs. Bottom line was he was transferred. He was transferred to Vice. I got a new partner. His name is Ike Cooper. Great guy, 25 years old or thereabouts, ex-Marine, loyal as a dog. Once again, though, just like the year before, all of a sudden the murders dried up. Again, about 9 months or so later, murders started happening again, and this time there were some clues, and we're following up the clues, got some really great hot leads. We got enough evidence to get a search warrant. There's one last piece of evidence I wanted to collect, so I ran out, and turned out to be a wild goose chase. I called up Ike. Ike was still waiting on the warrant from the judge, and I called Missy. Missy didn't answer the phone, which is strange because she always answers the phone. I started getting concerned, so I called back Ike, and I said, Ike, get to my house, see what's going on. Ike gets there, and the front door is ajar. He calls out, he searches the house, and there in the kitchen was a platter of half-made antipasta. Missy loved making antipasta, but then on the floor he saw this great big pool of blood, and it was just kind of swash, like something was dragged through it. He went through all the rooms in the house, and he found different parts of her body just placed in different areas of the apartment to the house. He called for a coroner and waited outside for me. I got there and I tried to run in, but he restrained me. And that was the downfall. That's why I started drinking. I went to a 5-year binge and started drinking Boilermakers, a shot and a beer. Well, for about the first year or so, kind of covered it up, and Ike was covering for me. Again, I told you he was loyal like a dog, but couldn't keep it from the brass forever. They transferred him to walk a beat, and they gave me just enough rope to hang myself. A couple years later, they kind of forced me quietly to retire. Anyway, about a year or so ago, I got sober. Then I started my own PI business. Then I got a call from the commissioner. It seems that the murders started happening again, and he wanted my eyes back in there. I went in, and who should be the captain now but Johnny Boy Illucito is now the captain of homicide. Anyway, we had our little pleasantries. We reintroduced ourselves to each other and let each other know where we stood. Anyway, I took my O files, I took his O files, I took Ike's O files, and I couldn't find anything. And on a whim, I called for his Vice files. And he was investigating this one string of burglaries and vandalism, and they thought at the time it was drug related. but it turned out to be a group of homeless people who would break into residences when the weather started turning bad, and they would wait there. They would wait there till the police came and arrested them, and they plead guilty, and that way they'd be in jail for the cold winter months. They'd have 3 squares a day, a warm bed to sleep in, and a phone system. So anyway, I started looking through these files, and something started clicking, that the murders would happen when this one certain group would be arrested, and it was led by Mama Bush, and she was known as the Bushwhacker. Now, she was 4'6" if she was an inch, and she was 75 pounds soaking wet. Anyway, what really got my attention was that in one of the break-ins that she did, she got in a tussle with the homeowner and beat him to a pulp. And that got me to think. I started looking at it, and all of a sudden, that when she was in prison, I seen that the murders stopped, and when she was out is when they started again. Found out, I did some extra digging, and found out she was a cook at the Ranger training school, and that she would go to the hand-to-hand combat training sessions with the Rangers. And when asked why, she said because she was so small, she was afraid of being mugged, and so she wanted to be able to defend herself. Anyway, at this last murder, we found evidence. We found her switchblade. Went to trial. We got a conviction, and she was sentenced to life in prison. Started getting slaps on my back. I was told that I can rejoin the force if I want to, and I told them no. I'm happy here. I have doll face in the front. That's all I need. And that was the case of the Boilermaker.